All right, we just finished figuring out how to write linear equations given a point and a slope. And we'll be able to graph that without a problem. And now we're going to talk about solving system of equations by graphing. So how can you use a graph to solve a system of equations? Well, first you probably want to find out what a system of equation is. That's when you have more than one equation on the same graph. Okay, so you're going to have multiple lines. Just a quick reference, if you have a graph and I have here's one line and now I have a second line. So this is called a system of equations, and what we're looking for is that key part. Where do they cross? Okay. Another type might be, hey, look, how fast I'm driving. It maybe starts off like this, and then someone's going over here this way. The point where they cross, again, is the solution to the system of equations. So system, think of a system as a solar system, right? Solar system has more than one planet, so this is going to be more than one equation on a graph. By the way, the key word right now, the key word for our next quiz is going to be stapler. Stapler, don't tell anybody, stapler. So the best way I think to explain this is through an example. So two crafting stores are in the city. Craft Something charges $15 an hour to paint plates or dishes, plus an extra $10 for supplies. Crafty charges $20 per hour to paint, but they have no additional charges. So this is like a color me mine. If you've ever been or seen something like that, you can go in, buy some pottery, and you can paint it and spend time doing whatever you want, and then they will make it a completed plate for you. All right, so graph and write the equations for both companies and interpret their intersection. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. Well, first of all, Craft Something, the company Craft Something, I know that they're going to charge $15 per hour. Okay, so this $15 per hour, that's the part that's going to turn into 15x. That's the pattern. It's increasing $15 each hour. And then in addition to that, they're going to ask for $10 for supplies. That's just a one-time fee. That's where you're going to begin. So as soon as you get there, it's a one-time fee of an extra $10. Okay, and so I can write my equation just like this. $15 an hour plus the extra 10 is my total cost. And again, you're familiar with writing the y first, and that's okay too. All you're just saying is, hey, the total cost is equal to $15 an hour plus $10 for the supplies. Crafty, the other store, is $20 an hour only. So this $20 an hour is my pattern, but there is no beginning fee. So it's just $20 an hour is equal to my cost. Again, I can reverse that and make it look like that. Now the idea is to graph this information. So what I did here is I started with drawing myself a little quadrant. I know that the number of hours, right, that you're going to spend there can't be negative hours, so I'm only going to use positive numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 hours. And the total cost, I just went by tens, $10, $20, $30, $40, $50, all the way up to 60. Okay, so this is my total cost. This is my number of hours. So I'm going to start off with this blue one. This blue one here says, look, in the very beginning, before any hours have started, at 0 hours, right, at 0 hours, I have $10 to spend. That's just for the supplies. So before I even start painting or do anything, $10 is for supplies. Then after that, it's $15 an hour. So then I go, all right, so then after another hour, if I go 1 plus 1 times 15 is 15, add another 10, that's $25. So I come over here and I go 125. I make that point there. Then I go 2 hours, where 2 times 15, that's 30, plus another 10 is 40. So 2 hours is going to give me a result of $40, right? 240, and I continue to do that. With the other one, with the other store, it was $0 to begin with, but it jumped up to $20 after an hour, $40 for 2 hours, $60 for 3 hours, and so on. And what I did to make it a little easier for you is I look, this red one, these are the coordinates. 0 hours, $0. 1 hour, $20. 2 hours, $40. 3 hours, $60. That's for Crafty. For Craft Something, $0, $10. I'm sorry, 0 hours, $10, right? That was for the supplies before I even started. After an hour, I paid $25 total. After 2 hours, it was $40 total. And 3 hours, $55. So you can see, even though this started off lower, it became more expensive, right? That's why this line is going up like that, steep. And so what I'm going to do is I find out that, wait a minute, they both cross at this same point at 240 and 240. After 2 hours, they're both going to charge you $40. And I'm going to go ahead and just plug that in to show you. Look, 2 hours into this one, 2 times 15 plus 10 gives you 40. And of course, 2 times 20 is also 40. So what does this actually mean? This means that both graphs cross at this point, and it means that the stores charge the same amount of money after 2 hours. Okay, so next, later, we're going to ask you, well, when is it a good idea to go to Craft something versus Crafty, the two different companies? Well, you might look at this and say, well, in the beginning, it's best to go to Crafty. It's cheaper. It's going to be cheaper for the first and the second hour. As soon as you get to the first and the second hour, as soon as you pass the second hour, all of a sudden, Crafty becomes more expensive. Versus Craft something, if you're like, look, I'm going to be there for more than 2 hours. At the beginning, it's more expensive, but after 2 hours, it's the same, and then it starts to become cheaper. So that's why we use this information to say, oh, okay, let me think. Am I going to be more than 2 hours? Because if I am more than 2 hours, better to go with this company. If I'm going to be there 2 hours or less, then I might as well go with this company if they do the same thing. Okay, we're going to do one more example here for your notes for today. Okay, so amusement park choices. You plan to go to a local amusement park. There's 2 pricing options. Choice 1, you can get $5 to enter and then $2 a ride. Choice 2, $31 to enter and you get unlimited rides. So which is the best? So you might think to yourself, well, this one is. Look, I only have to pay $5 to get in versus $31. That's a huge difference. But on choice 1, it's $2 a ticket. So I have to determine, well, at first glance, even though choice 2 seems more expensive, I want to say how many rides would it take me on choice number 1 so that this one might be cheaper. So I've got to figure out when my options are the best. Okay, so choice 1, let's take a look. $5 to enter, okay, and $2 per ride. Per ride is telling me that is a pattern. Okay, every ride an extra $2. Versus choice 2, it's $31 to enter, and there is no pattern. It's just a straight. That's what you're paying, $31 to get in. All right, so what I did is I just reversed those. I put, hey, your total is equal to $2 a ride plus $5 to get in. And for this option, choice 2, your total is equal to 31, no matter what. So let's see what happens when I actually graph this. Remember, the key word is staple. All right, so look, what I did is I made myself a little chart. Okay, you can pause the video and add this to your notes. The number of rides I put down here, ride tickets, and then the total cost over here. Notice this red line. This is choice 2. Look, starts at $31, and no matter if I go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, doesn't matter. I'm just going to pay $31 flat. It's a flat fee. That's what they call it, flat. Versus choice 1, I start at $5, and then it goes up $2 each time. So that's 7, that's 9, that's 11, right? 13, it keeps on going. So it moves up just like that, and I noticed that, wait a minute, there's one point where they cross at. What does this mean is the question. The 2 lines cross at 13.31. What does this mean? Well, it means that buying 13 tickets is the same price as the unlimited pass. So if you plan on going less than 13 rides, then don't buy the unlimited pass. Right? It's best if you're going to go less than 13 rides, you're like, nah, I'll just do the $5 to get in and $2 a ticket. But if you're like, man, I like these rides, I'm going to go on a lot of rides. If you're going to go on more than 13, then go with option number 2 is the answer. All right, I want you to try one on your own, and then we'll talk more about it in class. So your turn. You try this one. Graph these 2 lines. I didn't come up with the word problem. Just graph the 2 lines. You can use whatever you need to, and then find out where they intersect. Try to come up with an answer, and after you're done, check to see if this is what you got. Okay, how do I graph this? This blue one, I started at -3, I went down 2 over 1, and connected those points. For the red one here, I start at 5, I go up 2 and over 1, and they cross right here. That's the solution that works for both of these. If I plug it in, it works for both of them. All right, that's it for our notes today. Part 2 will be tomorrow's notes. All right, see ya.